Okay, so I've been getting a lot of questions, watch-related questions, from friends, Instagram followers, some people messaging me on YouTube, talking about what watch they want to buy, what watches are good, what watches are bad, and for a person just getting into this stuff, it can be pretty daunting. So I put together a little list of watches and what their brands say about the wearers. You are a horological bully. You know you paid too much for this watch, but you don't care, as long as other watch guys know you paid too much for that watch. No one but other watch enthusiasts recognize the prestige on your wrist, but that's okay, because unless they're a watch enthusiast, you don't recognize them as people. They are beneath you, because your wrist is the most expensive. You're a true showman. Everyone knows Rolex, and everyone knows Rolex is expensive. And you survive and thrive off the knowledge that other people know your watch is expensive. You don't know much about horology, but what you do know is that Rolexes are the shit. Why? Because Rolex. And that's all you need to know. You have no taste. You're a late middle-aged woman who only enjoys the finer things in life after her divorce. And those finer things include making other people's lives awful. Your grandkids are scared of you, and customer service workers cower behind their manager when they see you coming. But that's what you want, because you don't talk to anyone who isn't management. You exclusively drink gin, and the only thing laid on thicker than the makeup covering up all your wrinkles and reclaiming your youth is the dense haze of cigarillo smoke surrounding and engulfing everyone around you. You were, or are, in the military, collect military figurines, and you are a fan of military aviation. Your watch does shit that you don't understand, but you pretend you do, and you constantly brag about its functionality. Because here in the military, it's form over function. You're only unfit because you don't fit into anything. Typical fashion, stereotypes, size 32 pants. You're a man-child, or a lesbian. You can't read analog time. You don't need to, because digital, that's the way of the future. Who cares about class when your watch can smash other watches? Rubber and plastic is the way of the future. While all these other guys are living in the past with their mechanical Swiss movements, you're living in the present. Everybody else just has to catch up. And conveniently, you can time how long it takes them to catch up on your stopwatch, which is way classier and more accurate than a chronograph. You are a horological hipster. You don't speak Spanish, but you know the only phrase that matters is el primero. You thrive off telling other people about the historical significance of your watch and its amazing movement. To other people, it may appear to just be a watch, but to you, it's a beating heart. You are a girl on Instagram with more than 20,000 followers between the age of 18 to 26. You know less than nothing about horology or the history of watches. In fact, you know almost nothing full stop. Your marketable skills are your genetically gifted looks, your ability to take photos in your underwear, and your skill with a makeup brush. Your best friend is your bathroom mirror. It took you 45 minutes to perfect that booty selfie with the Daniel Wellington watch in it, and after you were finished, you had to Google how to spell Wellington. You are on steroids. You are an eccentric billionaire bordering on supervillain status. You've run out of other places to display your wealth, so you've resorted to the wrist. You don't wear watches to tell time. You wear watches to tell other people it's time to stop being poor. You're a strange person, harmless and fun-loving, but off-putting at the same time. You don't just have one swatch, you have tons of them, in all different colours. They aren't timepieces to you. They're releases to your latent hoarding. You sometimes wear a swatch on both wrists, and you like pineapple on pizza, but other people love you anyway. You are one tough motherfucker. You wake up in the morning and pour petrol over your breakfast cereal, which was a bowl of rusty nails. People cross the street to avoid you, and you're not bald, but you are. Respect and fear form the base of all your interpersonal relationships. You don't use bands on your watches or chains. You tie that shit down to your wrist with rope. Because you're not wearing the watch. You're not just allowing it to sit on your wrist. You're tying that shit down, and it's paying rent. You are Japanese, or a tennis player. You're not a snob about watches, and you make sure everyone knows. You choose Seiko because you're not pretentious. You choose function over form because you're a Seiko guy, and everyone else is a snob. You are aggressively passionate about unique watches. Your watches never fit your wrist properly. You are bulletproof in the same way that Wonder Woman is, but twice as fabulous. People don't have to understand the appeal of your watch, because it's fashion ahead of its time. You embrace hate. It fuels you. It makes your watch larger and more powerful, and also holographic. Square watches, they're coming back into fashion. Just you wait. You do everything the Rolex guy does, except nobody cares. Even when you do something better, people actively belittle you for it. You're not even a real person. You're just a knockoff of a real person. You're the human equivalent of the hot side of a pillow. People are going to use you, but at the first chance, they'll flip you for your cooler brother. You are a blank, personalityless drone of a person. You've never had an original thought of your own. You're not an ideas man, nor are you an action man. In fact, you're not really an anything man. You just kind of exist. And people like you until they need literally anything done. You are the human equivalent of training wheels. You're on better quality steroids than the diesel guy. You are a sponsored athlete for a company no one's ever heard of. But your discount code is good for 10% off. And your arm constantly feels like falling off. It's not just enough to lift weights in the gym. You have to exercise whilst checking the time. And what do you know? It's swole o'clock. Alright guys, I just want to say that obviously I own quite a lot of these different watches that belong to these brands that I've talked about. Everything I've said is all in humor, all in good fun. You know, I own a lot of the different watches on that list. So if you do, don't take offense to anything I've said. It's all been a joke. It's all been in good fun, much like the color of these pants. Alright? Well, okay, and I'll see you all later.